a time that it was a lot justifiable to purchase a third-party application over Apple native applications like reminders. Is this still the case? Because after iOS 18 and 26, this application improved massively. In this video, I'm going to run it against one of the most popular applications on the market, which is Things. And I will show you if it is justifiable to purchase something like Things over reminders. What are the selling points? The way I broke down this video, I'm going to take you through the UI comparison for both Mac and mobile applications, and then show you all the features that I think is necessary for a reminder application or a to-do application to have. Stay with me, it's going to be fun. When you open these two applications side by side, first thing that catches your eyes is how minimalistic these two applications are. Things here has an edge because it's quite famous. The focus was on design and user experience. The perfect use of gestures, very minimalistic interface, and very minimal learning curves. Reminders, on the other hand, is not super overwhelming. It is a bit more feature rich, and of course they had to put it somewhere in the interface, but it's following very closely what Things is doing. On the top here, on the top section, you have the pinned sections and also default sections like today's schedule and the smart list that I created and pinned them on top, followed by lists and sections. You can put the list in and then followed immediately by tags. Things, on the other hand, you only have your projects. The way these two applications work are also slightly different. Things is a project management tool. On the other hand, Reminders is a task management tool designed for you to create your lists and sectionize and categorize your to-dos. On the other hand, Things naturally want to push you into project management and creating projects that have tasks, and the project going to end at some point. That's why every project can be checkmarked and set to done. More on the interface, both of these panels are collapsible. On the left-hand side, you can collapse and expand Reminders, this panel. In Things also, you can expand and collapse it just by clicking it or dragging and moving it around. Settings in both of these applications are quite negligible. There are not much to play around. So here is Things, and here is basically Reminders settings. Things has the ability to show you the events. You can integrate your calendar events, and it shows you on top of your today, what are your events. And if you go to upcoming also, you will be able to see upcoming events from your calendar. Reminders, on the other hand, works in a different way. Reminders get integrated to your native calendar, but it is the calendar who remains as a master, and reminders will be shown in your calendar. So if I open calendar application quickly and show you, for example, today, you will see that my reminders are appearing here. And if I want to create something, I can immediately create a reminder in my calendar. I personally prefer this over Things because for Things, the reminders are quite static, but for reminders, if you open your calendar, then everything is dynamic, which means that I can change the time on this just by drag and drop it. Or I can literally drag anything from my reminder application and then drop it somewhere in my calendar to give my task a time. Let's jump into the mobile interface and take a look and compare them side by side. They are both very close to the Mac version, with the difference, of course, the size is smaller. By default, it shows you the list of the projects. Reminders shows you the list of reminders. And once you tap on any list, then you will proceed to the list. But something that is really eye-catching here is the ability to add sections in reminder applications. So if I expand this, which now makes it like an iPad application, I can create sections here. So if I add anywhere here and then manage my section, I can add a section or edit a section. And now look at this. If I view as column, now I have a Kanban style of task management. I can have a column for in progress, a column for done, a column for blocked, and then these tasks can also be moved into different columns. So it's somehow replicating the Kanban style of project management. While in Things, if I switch to the iPad version of things, I have the same sections, but I do not have that Kanban style. So I can move pretty much any task into different sections. And this is another way to organize your task under project. Both of these two applications get benefit from categories, which you can sort all your projects underneath, or within reminders, you can put your list inside. But something about reminders that is an unfair benefit is ability to sync in the background. When you add a reminder into your reminders application, it gets synced automatically via iCloud. When you go to your Mac, for example, then later, you do not need to open reminders application to get that synced. All the other applications, because they are sandboxed by Apple native SDK and the way it sandboxed the applications, you have to open that application for the cloud to sync your data. So if I create something in my phone on the things, I have to open my Mac application to sync back. This is an unfair benefit, I will call it, because Apple do not open that for third-party applications unless they are using iCloud. Now let's check the gesture management on these two applications. The way things did it is really beautiful and a lot of people love it. So if I drag this, for example, drop it anywhere, you can see a magnetic effect on creation. I can add it to inbox, I can drag and drop it here to create a project, or if I'm inside a section or a project, I can drag and drop it anywhere, for example, in between these two tasks to create a task. For operation on task, you can swipe left on these, and then here, the operation on the batch is available to you. I can set batch to complete, set tag, deadline, or any other thing. Move it to a different project, or set a deadline for them on a timer. And it applies to all of the selected. Reminders also have similar functions. So if I go here to inbox, for example, I can use two fingers, swipe down, select multiple, and I can see that the operation on the batches are also available to me. Mark as complete, add tag, flag, delete, add it to a different column here, add it to a different section, or I can change the time and date on all of them. Both of these applications leverage from a nice search tool. Things works in a slightly different way. For example, tags are not available to, like here. Reminders show you tags. You can tap on them with some extra features which I show you, but for things, you got to swipe down, which is a nice effect, get this box open, and then you got to search for your tag. This is not my preferred way. I prefer my tags to be available to me so I can view them. For example, in reminders, I have two additional functions on it. I can select a vlog, for example, as a tag. I can select multiple. I can then tap again to say, do not show me things that, for example, that are in trips and vehicle, but are not in show. And I can then create a reminder based on that. So if I tap on reminder, you can see that in my inbox, it automatically takes the tag trip and vehicle. Let's add them. So I can add this tag. Now let's go and add another tag to it. Name it show. The moment I add that tag, it fell off this list because I told it not to show me anything that got this show tag. There are still two things here in the interface that reminders overpowers things. One is Smart List. Smart List is a very nice feature. It's very powerful. You can basically leverage from list and tags and a lot of different things to basically create a smart list that filters your to-dos based on those criteria. For example, here I have it next 10 days, which I want to see what do I have in my schedule for the next 10 days. It's quite important for me. Next 3 days. And then contents, which takes the certain tags. I'm going to create a separate video explaining how to create these powerful smart list and what kind of query you can put inside. Another thing that Reminder has it, but Things doesn't, is ability to pin these lists. So for example, I don't have an inbox. I create a list name inbox, and I set it as a default, so it becomes my inbox. Whatever I want to create will immediately go to my inbox. Now I can pin it here, and my inbox will sit here. While in my things, I do not have ability to show or hide or modify this list up here, the list of the default sections. Before proceeding, I want to show you what I have on my phone. This is a case designed by Banks, and if you remember, a while ago I created a video on their product because they sent me a range of their products for revision, and it was this case. Look at this. It was an iPhone 15 Pro Max, and I have it over 1.5 years on my phone. Look how well it maintained its shape and texture and everything. It's totally like it was just out of the box. These cases are not cheap because they are not cheap. And if you get what I mean, when you pay over 1,000 USD for a phone like iPhone, that phone deserves something classy. And these cases are really nice. These cases are very well made. I've got a lot of questions coming into my comment section asking me what kind of case I'm using. What is this case? And I'll just like direct them to their website and Amazon store. I placed a link in the description for these cases. Trust me, you're not gonna regret purchasing them. This is a money you pay once and you're gonna enjoy it for years. Let's proceed and compare the features these two applications give you the time of task creation on the task and reminders itself. First thing that comes to my head, and I always had a nightmare with, is in Things application to create a recurring task. It is not very sophisticated the way they designed it. For example, if I create something here and I call it recurring, I don't have any option here, the time of creation, to create my basically recurring task. Then I have to right click on it, set repeat, and then set my repetition here. I can add a deadline reminders. This is not how it should be designed. I think reminders done it better. So if I create a recurring task here, first of all, I can use natural language processing. I say daily, and it automatically detects it and set it as daily. Let's say I do not want to use natural language processing. I can use recurring to, and then tap here, set date, and the repeat ability appears here. Things, on the other hand, has natural language processing, but if you didn't know, it's here. You can say today, tomorrow. I don't know if it works with, I don't think it works with recurring, so you can't tell it daily. You can say like, just give it static times, but recurring doesn't work with this natural language processing. Now let's compare the features that both of these applications give you. What are the other features? I can see tags, I can see notes here, I can see subtasks or checklist. And I can see flag, which is my deadline. So this is one additional feature that Things have in comparison to reminders. Ability to deadline, separate from your due date. Due date, for example, reminders tomorrow, but your deadline can be later. On the other hand, look at the amount of features that reminders give you. You got notes, you got immediate tags here. You can add location, you can add date, time, you can add tags here, flag it. Now look at this. You can add a URL, you can add date, time, you can set it to a specific list, flag it, priority, which is extra, Things doesn't have it, location, Things doesn't have it, SMS, reminders, Things doesn't have it, and add image. How many times we want it to be reminded on a basically invoice or basically a charge or something that is in a form of a photo? I get a lot of that. I just attach a screenshot to my reminders. It doesn't accept file. I wish it could accept file, but this is a wanted feature that a lot of people need it, and it's not available in Things. And by the way, in reminders, you can also have child or basically checklist. You just need to drag something and drop it on to another reminder. This is also feasible on mobile application. You can just select as much as you want, drag them, and drop them onto another reminder, it will indent it. It means that this is now a child of this recurring to, and it can collapse and expand. The behavior is quite the same. If you set this as done, if you set this as done, it has no effect on the parent. So the parent still need to be checked in order to be completed. Now when you put these features together, it makes a lot of sense. Things application is a project-based application. That's why it gives you deadlines. Reminder, on the other hand, gives you a lot more. So on the reminder management, and also it gives you something extra, which, for example, if you set a reminder due date to 31st, you get an early reminder here. You can set a reminder to be reminded 2 days before the due date. Also, something that I wish Things was implementing it, not being a solo application. If I'm managing projects, I would like to collaborate on the projects, but Things is a solo application. You cannot collaborate, you cannot share. Reminders, on the other hand, you can share it with anybody with iCloud, and everybody can collaborate on those lists seamlessly. That's something I love, because I have reminders I've shared with family members, and we all can collaborate or remind each other on things that needs to be done. Now think about everything I told you, and I really love to hear your opinion. Do you still justify paying for a third-party application like Things, or you rather go with reminders? And let me know what is the reason. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.